So as you probably noticed, I was unable to do any Christmas VCRs this year due to time restriction, and by time restriction I mean 2 jobs, which is disappointing because I had several planned. However, I did run across some interesting surprises this Christmas season with cartoon specials, and one in particular I'd like to touch upon, even though it is kinda late, and that is Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. For those unfamiliar, Mr. Magoo was UPA's Mickey Mouse. He was a visually challenged elderly man, wonderfully voiced by Thurston Howell III, aka the Millionaire. The joke in these cartoons was that the little old man couldn't see anything, and yeah, sort of un-PC nowadays, but I thought they were pretty funny. These cartoons were easily the best thing that came out of UPA, and okay, they weren't rip-roaring hilarious, but they were giggle humor, and sometimes that's all you really need. So in 1962, they made a TV special and casted him as Scrooge in the rendition of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol. Now, okay, we've seen this 100 times. Mickey Mouse, Kermit the Frog, even Bill Murray. However, to this film's credit, it was the first cartoon rendition to actually have touched upon the famous story. And it was also the first one I've ever seen in its repeated viewing in the mid-80s. Now, I love Mr. Magoo cartoons. I always look forward to them, so I was looking forward to see this. However, to my realization, it was not funny. Oh, I don't mean the humor fell flat, I mean the humor was absent. It actually was not funny. As the film started, Mr. Magoo showed up on Broadway to perform Ebenezer in the musical adaptation. Things were looking as normal. You know, he walked into the restaurant instead of the Broadway theater, he knocked a few things over, dropped a sandbag on the director, the usual shtick. But then, the play began and he performed. Flawlessly. He was not a blind Ebenezer, he played it straight. The comical opening and closing bookended a well-respected, serious performance. As a kid, I wasn't disappointed, I was just confused. Why is the comedian not acting funny? It'd be like watching What's Opera Doc and seeing Bugs and Elmer perform Wagner's Siegfried. So, okay, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I didn't see it again after that. Unlike Charlie Brown and Garfield, which became yearly traditions, this one just fell into obscurity. But now, 3 decades later, I ended up watching it again, and I came to a new realization. How brilliant that is. The fact that they can take a cartoon character known for slapstick comedy and create drama. And an even more astonishing realization was how I took inspiration from this. In 1999, I casted Waddle in exploitation films and mob movies, all without comedy, because Waddle was playing a part. I had subconsciously got a lesson from the writers and animators who did something with their character and a classic story they clearly liked just because they wanted to. I highly recommend this. If you're looking for a fun cartoony one, then go with Mickey or the Muppets. But if you want to see a fine rendition and a great example of a limitless use of cartoon characters' ability to appear in whatever they want, then give this a try. You won't be disappointed.